Good afternoon. Welcome everybody into the circle. I'm here with I'm here with Gundit News, Maher Abrams once again to review the Manchester City Arsenal game. And I want to say, Gundit, that the game kind of went to plan the way I thought it would pan out. But I was very happy with the team. What was your overall take from this game?
My overall take was I also actually am proud of them. There was a little bit of a I wasn't expecting a result like a lot of Gundits were, but overall good, like a good performance. I wanted to see a bit more of Suarez though.
Yeah, unfortunately, Suarez didn't get in until the latter part of the game, so we can talk about that a little bit later. And Suarez did not get an opportunity to get himself into the game at all. But
Yeah, good.
I had predicted a 2-1 win for Manchester City, and if it were not for that handball, I would have been correct. I don't take any comfort in being correct.
I also don't do the same. My prediction I was actually going for was 3-0 to Man City.
Who did you think played really well today?
From our current squad, I would say the likes of Lacazette and Aubameyang though. They really did work hard, and
Hmm.
even Mustafi putting in a few vital interceptions and tackles. Otherwise, we could have been on the end of a really bad score.
Especially Lacazette, he really played really really well and fought for every ball.
Yeah, absolutely everything like a warrior. Like you know how much we already love him, and when they show their passion on the field, you really can't have anything bad to say about them.
No, no. So our overall take from this game, and maybe we'll delve into the game a little bit later, but our overall take from this game was it kind of went as expected. We didn't ship 5 goals like we would have done at Liverpool, but that was different circumstances. Are you seeing a little bit of progress with this team, this Unai Emery team, Gundit?
Yes, matter of fact, I am. You know what I was most surprised about? That even though we have a makeshift defense, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I was also expecting a hammering, but our defense did quite well with the personnel that they have at the moment.
Yeah. I thought Koscielny put in another good game today.
Oh yes, most definitely with the goal.
Definitely capped by
I
the goal as well.
I think it was the second Aguero goal was a bit controversial.
Was it offside? Is that what you're thinking?
No, it was the one where the ball I think hit him on the side of his arm. It either hit his arm
Yeah,
or the side of
that was the third goal in the second half.
sorry the third goal.
Yep.
But I mean they literally killed. We were still in the game at 2-1. The third goal basically killed the game.
Yeah. So if I want to take a moment to thank I got 2 extra subscribers yesterday, so I really appreciate that. Please share the content around, and we can grow this channel. Gundit and I in the Arsenal fan circle. But I feel like the Arsenal played a really good game today. What did you think of the lineup to start with, Gundit?
The lineup I would have started Suarez and I would have probably started Ramsey or Ozil as well.
Yeah.
So a little bit disappointing. Because also I wouldn't have started Iwobi. How do you think Iwobi's performance was tonight?
You know, I thought he tried really, really hard, and obviously he made that mistake for the first goal in the first minute, but then he settled into the game. I thought all 3 players in the midfield played really well. Torreira, Guendouzi, and Iwobi. I thought they played quite well.
Oh yeah, Guendouzi as well. He put in a little bit of a performance, like he was playing well. It's just a shame that Koscielny, sorry, not Koscielny, Iwobi did
Good,
try and.
good evening, London Old School. Welcome to the circle. Thanks for coming in. I know how late it is at nighttime there.
Yusuf? No. Come away from me.
Yeah, we were talking about the midfield, London Old School. We are talking about how Iwobi got over his initial defense, his initial problem for that goal, but then he played quite well along with Torreira and Guendouzi in midfield. And I was just asking Gundit what he would have done differently, and Gundit would have brought on Suarez and Ramsey to start with.
Yeah, from the jump.
But Gundit, it seemed like we had a good defensive base and we had strikers.
What you say, Raymond? Just hold on.
We had a good defensive lineup and we had strikers, but we needed to mesh those two together. And I just don't know if Iwobi and Guendouzi and Torreira would have been the right choices in midfield.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not that disappointed. Look, because we still were not expecting any result from this.
Welcome to the circle.
A draw would have been ideal. Because, like I said, we're only 3 points away from Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, London Old School, I thought Iwobi did okay. I mean, he didn't set the world alight, but I thought he did go okay after obviously conceding that chance for the first goal, not clearing the box properly. Lichtsteiner was a constant danger, and if you look at it, all 3 goals came from Lichtsteiner's side. Right, Gundit?
Yeah, I think so too, eh?
Personally, I would have picked Jenkinson for right back.
Oh, even better. He's a natural left back or right back.
I feel like Emery sets out his side, so he always keeps something on the bench that he can impact the game with. And I don't know if he wouldn't have started with his best team like a Ramsey or instead of a Iwobi, that might have been better. And maybe Lichtsteiner is a limited player. We all know that. But I take this as similar to the first game of the season when we played Manchester City at home. Was nothing expected of us today. It would have been a great result if we'd have got something.
It would have been a real shock. It would have been a fantastic result.
London Old School said Lichtsteiner versus Sterling was not a good choice.
Yeah, most definitely not. Like we said, we would have definitely gone with rather the likes of Carl Jenkinson.
I want of Lichtsteiner. Nothing in my point of view.
Nothing actually. You know what? Even though Lichtsteiner, like, apparently now we've only got him on loan until the end of the season, where we could bring in a proper left back, as per se, because man, his positional play is good. It's just that he's fallen out since quite a long time ago. He's fallen out of having that positional power behind him.
Yeah.
Where he knows where to stand in terms of defensive duties.
A good 35 minutes. And then Manchester City kind of took over. And that goal just before halftime was a bad one to concede. But Manchester City took over from that point on.
Yeah, I don't think I saw any real opportunities in the second half as well, where we normally come alive. But yeah, man, it was a bit disappointing.
I was worried that he's going to play one up top, but maybe that might have been the way to go.
Also, in my startings, maybe I would have gone with. Were we actually playing a diamond today, or were we playing 4-4-2?
I think we ended up with a diamond formation, but London Old School has a question for us, and I think you can answer this one first. Gundit, do you think we have an opportunity still to qualify through fourth place, or are we just in the Europa League now?
I think what we can try and do is, if we can push along in the for fourth place in the league, I would love that. Although I see maybe our biggest opportunity being in the Europa League.
All right. Do you feel right now we can get top four, Gundit?
Yes, I do feel that we can still get
Hi,
top
Noe.
four
Thanks
this
for
way.
coming on, Noe. Appreciate it. I got London Old School and we got Noe Dennis also. Noe talking about. Yep, exactly. London Old School has asked if we think we can get top four still, or are we in the Europa League, Noe? And I'm going to answer that question next, London Old School. I definitely believe we're going to get top four this season. Now, call me an optimistic gooner, as I've said many times before. We actually have to play Manchester City next weekend, and we get to play Huddersfield next weekend. So all things going to plan there, that Chelsea could lose and we could win that game, which brings us closer to them, and then we will erase the goal difference just through those two results. Where there's a 5 goal difference now, Gundit. But so I definitely do think our next 3 games we have to win. London Old School. We have to beat Huddersfield away, Bournemouth at home, and Southampton at home, and that's 9 points that we need. What do you think, Noe? Let me know. But then, as I keep saying, guys, next month, we're playing Tottenham at Wembley, and we're playing Manchester United at home. Those are going to be 2 difficult games next month. But then,
So it's actually 9 points are very vital within the next 3 games. Huddersfield, Southampton, and who is the other team?
Huddersfield, Southampton, and Bournemouth. And the last 2 of those are playing at home. So we really, really need 9 points from those games. I'm going to welcome into the circle wave a third person. I really think we need 9 points from those 3 games. And I'm going to say if we don't get 9 points from those 3 games, top four will be difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Then we'd have to focus on. Although our first leg now, our next leg in the Europa League is going to be against Bate Borisov.
Yeah.
So let's hopefully go there, put in a hell of a shift, and get through to the next round.
You say bait, I say bate. That's funny.
Come here.
That is funny. Okay, so I thought Mustafi played a reasonably decent game today.
Yeah, me too. I also think.
And
They normally call him Suspect FC every time he comes on because of all the mistakes he makes.
Yeah.
And it is. But he actually did perform good tonight.
he did have that one issue in the beginning, the first goal, where he kept everybody on side for that first goal. Aguero must love playing Arsenal.
Like who wouldn't love playing against Arsenal right now with all
That's
their
right. No, they are winnable games. No,
mistakes?
no, he said those Huddersfield and Bournemouth and Southampton are winnable games. It's basically 3 cup finals, Noe. Basically 3 cup finals. And Huddersfield, I think, are at bottom of the league right now. They're playing with very, very little confidence. We can go to Huddersfield and get a win, no problem. And then we play Bournemouth and Southampton. 2 tricky games, but we can win those 2 games at home at the Emirates. And then who knows what? We could be top 4. We could be in 4th place after those 3 games. Welcome into the circle. There's 4 people in now. Hi, Luca Quarta. Luca, the game went to plan in terms of, not in terms of what we wanted, but in terms of what we thought. Oh, so Luca is very, very pessimistic. He says top 4 is over. Luca, there's a long way to go yet.
Yeah, there's still quite a while to go, eh?
I think nobody expected really to get a result at the Etihad today, especially after Manchester City losing in the middle of the week. The last 2 wins we had against Cardiff and Chelsea, were very, very vital. We got 6 points there while Chelsea did not. Chelsea had lost to Bournemouth as well. So let's
Yeah,
talk about the Cardiff game. That Cardiff game. No, he said Luca is the son of Claude. He's so negative. Hey, I think it's fun.
no, it's not.
No, I think it's fun that we all have different viewpoints that we can bounce off. It would be very boring. This next hour would be very boring if we all had similar ideas. What do you
If we
think,
were all the
Gundit?
same. Yeah, if we were all the same, it would be a very bland show. We like to have different sort of characters on Arsenal fan circle.
I know, but we have a cross section of Arsenal supporters right here in the circle right now, and Luca may be Claude right now. Luke, are you okay with being? Luke, are you okay with being equated to Claude? In all fun.
In all fun.
Yeah,
Look, basically,
exactly.
like we always say, the chemistry of having a different bunch of characters. You've got your introverts, extroverts, those who are optimistic, those who are pessimistic. Say for example, saying
Completely agree with you, Luca.
right now.
I completely agree with you, Luca. Luca said we were in the game at 1-1, and then we lose a bad goal just before halftime. And Emery, I have a theory. Emery is not going to risk creativity in his team at the expense of points. Points are going to be valuable to Arsenal from now to the end of the season. And we're not going to get points through creativity. And that's the way Emery's thinking right now.
Raymond, I would love to ask you something.
Go.
How do you mean? How do you mean in terms of creativity, like sacrificing the likes of like an Ozil? Are you saying like that type?
Yeah, he's not going to put a player in like Ozil. You see that he didn't put Ramsey in until the 66th minute. And the same, I think Suarez, once he gets up to speed, he's going to be in the team more and more regularly. But I think Emery is a pragmatic coach, and he's going to see where he can get points and where he cannot get points. He's not going to, like, similarly, we all want to see a splash of a young player playing in the team. We wanted to see
Yeah, most definitely.
Emil Smith Rowe. You know.
Yeah, I don't think Emil Smith Rowe has gone to RB Leipzig though at the moment.
Yeah,
He's on
but that's what we're talking about with Emery. He's not going to. He's under so much pressure to get top forward. This is not really his expression of his team just yet. Obviously, because there's only 4 or 5 players that are his kind of players. And London Old School, thank you for that point. That Aguero did admit that it was handball. I don't know how that referee didn't see that. Manchester City fans do not like Martin Atkinson, but today they can be thankful for him.
But that's exactly what I was saying as we started this live session.
Yeah.
I was saying how on earth was that considered a goal? I mean, the funny thing is, even non-footballing people like my mom actually looks at me and she's like, "No, that's a goal." I'm like, "No, that's not a goal. You don't know football." She's walking past you saying it's in the back of the net. I'm like, "No, you're not allowed to score a goal with the hand." And at first I did think that he's in the groin area, in the abs. But then on closer inspection, actually.
Welcome into the fourth person. Luca, I actually think that yeah, I will have you on, Luca, next time. For sure. I think that Guendouzi played quite well, Luca. I thought that he played a very tidy game. He was combative. He played very, very well in passing the ball around. What did you think of Guendouzi today, Gundit?
Like I said, Guendouzi, to me today, actually, if you were to ask me about a player rating, I would give him a 7.
Okay.
Based on performance tonight.
Yeah, Luke, I think that Manchester City, Lucas said when Ramsey and Suarez came on, they had a small bit of improvement. They brought it a small, pretty. Did you read the rest of the comments? Yes, I did. I did, Luca.
I would, I
I
wouldn't say
think Manchester City were just on top of the game too much for Suarez to
yeah,
be able to have an impact on the game, and the same thing for Ramsey. Um, we had no shots on target in the second half,
yeah, like
or no
that was heartbreaking
no
for me.
shots at all, Luca.
No shots at all, like not even one, just one time somebody decided I'm gonna take a shot instead of passing, you know?
So I want to ask you also, Gundit. We think when Dennis Suarez gets up to speed and is getting fitter and able to play in the team, who's going to lose their place in the midfield?
Um, Gundit.
Probably Guendouzi, right?
I would go with the likes of Xhaka, Torreira, and Suarez to play in the middle.
Yeah. London Old School said defensively we were a mess, but midfield was okay. I tend to agree with that, London Old School. Um, we have good strikers. We have a reasonably good midfield. But we are struggling seriously in the back four or five, whichever way you call it. We cannot actually evaluate the goalkeeper too easily yet, Gundit, because he doesn't have a strong defense in front of him.
Yeah, we've discussed it many times. We've said you can only deal with what's in front of you.
And
right now,
Leno did make some good saves. He almost got to the first goal as well. His arm just almost came up quickly enough to be able to get to Aguero's header on the first goal.
yeah, but that's the problem about having a defense that's in shambles. That's going to happen every single time. We're going to get we're like figured out by any team, whether it's a small team or a big team.
Yeah.
Like that season, for example, one.
I think in our next episode as well, Gundit, we're going to get Luca on the line with you as well. So we'll have like a three-way conversation, and that should be pretty explosive. Even next weekend, if we do beat Huddersfield, we do want to have Luca on for a little bit of a different viewpoint, maybe more of a vocal viewpoint as well.
It'll be, like I said, it'll be fantastic. And guys, also go tune into Luca Porter's channel, and love you guys all for the support and the love that you guys show.
I'm London Old School. Thanks so much for staying with us. I know it's late, as I always say, but I do appreciate you doing that. Want to talk about what did you think of Kolasinac and Monreal on the left-hand side? Gundit.
Monreal, to be honest with you, he's always been consistent as far as I can remember. He's always been very consistent.
Consistent.
Kolasinac is not. We should try him on the wing, not a wing back, as we say, because his defensive duties he needs to improve very drastically. But attacking wise, he looks alright.
Yeah, Manchester City are shocking defending wise. They said on the commentary that half of their goals have been conceded through set pieces now. So that's the most amount of ratio wise that have conceded through set pieces. Almost they're defending almost like Arsenal used to a couple of years ago. But really like that corner routine with the flicked on header. And probably back to Steve Bold days when Arsenal used to do that all the time.
Yeah. That's another technique that they can use. What was I thinking of? Specifically the goal versus Cardiff. If we were thinking about the Cardiff game.
Yeah.
Like I said, goal. Absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
He could have gone down for the free kick. But He got up off his feet after being tackled and
Yeah.
just carried on and just ended up putting the ball with so much power, deflecting with the keeper because of so much power. There's nothing the keeper could do actually.
Very like what Walcott used to do years ago. Walcott was that kind of player you'd think you'd taken him down, and he would get up again and just weasel his way through a defense and score a goal.
Yeah, and just man, his boy was
So
3-4 defenders and score.
let's just go back a few days then to the midweek game. Obviously, we touched on Cardiff as well. Scrappy game. I was not watching it live, thank God. But with the Cardiff game, it was one of those where the 3 points were more important than the performance. But speak to the performance, Gundit. How bad was the performance versus Cardiff?
The performance was shocking. The performance was absolutely shocking. We were all over the place. Every single player on the pitch. But like you say, like we always say, the win is sometimes much more important than any performance that we can put in.
The biggest thing I was disappointed about was not having a clean sheet in that game. We conceded a goal in the dying moments of that Cardiff game.
Yeah, I was also like, why do we do this to ourselves? Can we not just, but I mean, if you look at the state that everything is in right now, with all our defenders basic, we can't even, we can't keep a clean sheet. It's not possible.
Why London said we'd win against Cardiff? Why did we labour? What's in the DNA of the team right now that's making them, get difficult points?
We are in need of a boost, whether that comes in the terms of, we should have signed defenders. I do not know why we did not sign any defenders.
I can tell you why. Because we have like 7 or 8 defenders on the books. But, most of them are injured. So, short term wise, they're thinking they're going to get players back.
But it's right now, I wouldn't even a change in scenery.
But I'll tell you what, Gunda, that strategy is going to be tested in the next 3 games. These 3 games we talked about. I know you mean a Vieira type player. So London Old School says we lack leaders on the pitch. We need a Vieira type player. We need a commanding centre back that's going to yell and shout and tell other players where they need to be, what position they need to be in. I just wonder if they're out there anymore, London Old School, because in this day and age, everybody's got a social media account. Everybody's a superstar in their own right, and they just won't listen to other teammates yelling at them. What do you think on that?
Exactly. You know what I think? I basically think also the same. I would fully agree with London Old School on that one. We don't have any out-and-out leaders. And with Emery also, he sometimes just gives the captain's armband, which means so much in today's time that, even back in the days, the captain's armband means everything. That's your leader. If your leader is not around, who do you look to give you that spark?
Yeah. Do you think the captain's armband means a lot anymore?
No.
It doesn't.
Not anymore.
No, it doesn't, right? It's just like a ceremonial type of thing, It's not of great importance, and this is why he kind of copped out a little bit. He said, "I'm going to make there be 5 captains this season," because he didn't know all of the players, as well as he will do come the summertime. I wonder if he's going to change. I wonder if he's going to change to have one captain nominated in the summertime.
Look, if there was anybody to be captain, who would you pick to be our captain? But every single game.
I would pick Torreira. I'd pick Torreira now, every single game, or maybe Socrates if he's going to still be in the team next season.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Socrates because like we've said in the past, how much passion does that guy show? When it comes to putting in tackles, he's getting the crowd up for it after the tackle. When there's an interception or when there's a goal or
Yeah.
it was just to boost the team.
Lo-
Say, come on, guys, we
yeah,
got this.
I got you, London Old School. London Old School says now they drive around the Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And in the old days, Adams and those crew would be in the pubs. So they'd be much more accessible to the fans. Now they're removed from the fans by social media. They're closer through the internet, but they're removed personally from the fans, and
Oh, yeah, but that is
that's
true.
why responsibility is lost anymore in a team game. But I think Gundit, I think the profile this summer must be not only to buy whether we're going to debate one or two defenders. You let me know. But we definitely need whatever we're going to buy. We need somebody who's going to be vocal. We need the right chemistry in that back four that's going to organize as well.
Definitely. Definitely. 1,000,000% agree with you on that.
And London Old School said Jack Wilshere is the last of that type. I'd also venture to nominate Jenkinson as well. You know, he's basically an Arsenal fan, living the dream. He's playing in the team right now. London Old School, I would like Harry Maguire. I would love if we could sign Harry Maguire as well. What do you think, Gundit?
Top notch. Top notch. I was thinking exactly the same thing
Yeah,
right
he
now.
knows the league
Harry
inside and
Maguire.
out. Harry Maguire knows
Harry
the league,
Maguire.
and we don't want Manchester United getting their filthy hands on him either. You
Another
know?
player that they can ruin, basically.
Yeah. So we got three vital points versus Cardiff, and in the same evening, I got a little bit excited. I went online, and because Manchester United should have been beaten, they dropped points versus Burnley, and Chelsea were beaten the next day. So that whole weekend went our way, pretty much. Apart from Tottenham,
Pretty much.
scraping a win again. Tottenham have been winning games in the last few minutes of the last couple of games now. They're due a
Past two
bad
games.
result.
Past two games, even with terrible performances, but like we always say, by any means necessary.
I
You
was a
have to
little
get
bit
those
I was a
points.
little bit disgusted with their win yesterday. That shot should have easily been saved by the goalkeeper
Oh, Dubravka,
from
who's the keeper.
Sonaldo.
No, not Ronaldo.
Sonaldo.
Dubravka made a really terrible goalkeeping mistake. That was down his throat. That was straight at him.
Tottenham are really they're in between two races right now. They're in between the race for the title and the race for top four, and they're kind of in no man's land. I think they're just going to finish out the season in third place.
Yep. I also think so, because it's disgusting seeing those guys from Shoutout Lane so close to being behind, so close to Liverpool.
Yeah. And then there's the debate: who's the best team in London? Are they better than us because they've got more points in the league? But they're not winning titles. You know, we've won cups in the last 5 or 6 years. What if they won the last 5 or 6 years? It's the history books
Absolutely
that are going to
nothing.
remember everything.
Exactly. Their 10-year challenge is basically taking the same picture 10 years ago and right now. Their cabinet is empty. They can't say absolutely anything.
Okay. So what is our direction moving forward? Let's not talk about them too much. Our direction moving forward, our target moving forward is obviously top four. Uh, can we finish top five and still call it a good season? Let me know what you think, London Old School. Gundit, what do you think? Can we finish out the top four, outside the top four, and still call it a good season? Knowing all that we know right now.
Look, I would still call it personally, but a lot of guys wouldn't be happy because they've won Champions League football in order for us to be attracting the big names, in order, to push on and win the first league that we haven't won in, I think it's about 15 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. For Tottenham,
Which is like half of me. 15 years.
I've heard about that UEFA ban for City. I have not heard anything official about it. I don't know when there's going to be a ruling. So, London Old School said if we win the Europa, that's a good season as well. I think you can make. I'm not trying to make excuses for Emery here. Maybe I am, but I feel like I'm not. If we finish outside, if we finish fifth, for instance, and we say we get 6 or 7 more points than we did last season, with everything that happened, and we're going into a window where we're going to have some more funds to spend. Has Emery done a good job at fifth place? Say 6 or 7 more points than we did last year? Because City are not running away with the league like they did last year. Does that constitute a good season?
Uh,
And let's leave the Europa. Let's say we get to the semi-final of the Europa like we did last year and don't progress to the final. So
then I don't think it would be. Then we really have to push on and try and get. Because I feel Emery's going to be under too much pressure if we fall lower than Champions League place.
yeah. Basically, I'm describing a Wenger-esque type season like we had last year, but with 5 or 6 more points than we did collect last year, which is probably natural because Manchester City are not running away with the title. They could have 5 or 6 more points and be very similar.
But Raymond, all the gunners worldwide should give Emery time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen overnight.
That's what
is going to get into top 4.
Exactly, and London Old School just said the same thing. You know, we should remember what we thought about Emery when he came on at the start of the season. Nobody really expected top 4 at the start of the season for Emery. So let's keep that in mind, you know. But we are tantalizingly close to top 4.
Very tantalizingly, yes. I like that choice of word.
Yeah. London Old School said City are beatable, as are Spurs and Chelsea and Manchester United. So I feel like London Old School thinks Liverpool can win the league.
But I suppose we all
They're capable.
After the first few games, we all had an idea who more or less was going to win the league, and I even tipped Liverpool to win.
Yeah, nothing has changed from the start of the season. It's become quite predictable at this point. We knew Liverpool would be competitive. We thought City would win the league again probably. Now Liverpool have done fantastic. Liverpool have done fantastic this year to get to the position they're in. And then we did feel that Spurs, Manchester United and Chelsea would be fighting for the top 4. Now, surprisingly, we pushed ourselves into that conversation here. Arsenal have pushed ourselves into this conversation for top 4 through the course of the season. So, that's why I'm putting so much importance in the next 3 games. Anything can happen in 3 league games. The English Premier League is so competitive. But let's analyze. Let's go through the 3 games one by one, Gundit. What do you think? Huddersfield away from home.
That should be an easy 3 points, really.
Yeah.
If the boys put in anything, then half of what they put in today and was Chelsea, we should be able to win that game 4-0 or 5-0.
3-1. My prediction 3-1.
Yeah, you could give them a goal, but like you said, they are at the bottom of the table.
London Old School. Yeah, go ahead. We conceded a lot of goals. They looked like shorn of confidence versus Chelsea. Chelsea and Higuain really had a field day the other day with them. Yeah, I got you, London Old School. So London Old School thinks Arsenal would beat Huddersfield 3-0.
3-0, yeah.
All right,
Basically,
let's move.
at least,
How do we feel Chelsea versus City? City are going to play at home again versus Chelsea next weekend. I feel
go
like
City.
I feel like
Come on,
City will win
City.
that game.
But that's just how the league is. Today we could be in sixth. Next week after a Chelsea loss and a Manchester loss, we could be back in fourth.
Yeah, we're not even looking at Manchester United in this scenario. But then London Old School said 2-0 to City for that game. That puts us level on points again
Yeah,
by
exactly. Good point.
next weekend. Maybe fourth, maybe fifth, depending on what Man United do. I'm not sure who Man United play next. Uh,
I was really hoping Leicester would have done us a favor today, though.
apparently, I wasn't watching much of it, but apparently Leicester had a lot of chances that they just couldn't put away. You know,
Oh,
but
that's
uh,
even more disappointing.
so after next weekend, we're supposedly level on points with Chelsea. Our goal difference will be somewhat similar, and then we play the two games at home versus Bournemouth and Southampton. How do you think we fare against Bournemouth at home?
Bournemouth is going to be a tricky game as they beat Chelsea 4-0.
You're calling it a tricky game, and then you're going to win 4-0.
No, I'm calling it a tricky game because Bournemouth beat Chelsea 4-0.
Bournemouth beat Chelsea 4-0 at their place. We're going to have them at our
At
place.
their place also.
London Old School goes for a 2-1 win to Arsenal there. I tend to agree that'll be a close game. I might, yeah, I think 2-1. I think it would mirror what you were saying, London Old School. But it could be a field day. Who knows? We're only guesstimating here what the scores could be. And then we play Southampton. We owe them one at home. Remember what happened down there at St. Mary's?
Oh, we need revenge.
Stuff about you. When you're looking at the calendar for when Southampton come back to play you, you know?
Yeah, we are looking at a running, even though, there are very tough games coming, such as the United game and the Tottenham game at Wembley.
Yeah.
Our run-in is a little bit easier.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 win versus Southampton.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Exactly the same scoreline.
So that puts us at 56 points. When 3 games from now, we're at 56 points. And Chelsea will be thereabouts with us. But, there's hope, I think, for the rest of the season. And after Southampton, we're going to play. Let's just talk about these 2 games because really, really, we like to project into the future. We're going to play Tottenham at Wembley in March, early March.
Yeah, could it be?
Harry Kane might be back by then.
Yeah, we should have our warrior back by then.
Socrates should be back, yep. Our back four, when we play Tottenham next month, our back four is looking a little stronger. Hi, Richard from Arsenal TV. Thanks for coming on.
As long as Socrates is back.
We're just predicting the next few games in the future. And we talked about next 3 games, Richard. We talked about Huddersfield away from home, Bournemouth at home, and Southampton at home as being 3 vital games. But anyway, let's move on to the... Sorry, London Old School. I missed your prediction. Or Tottenham at Wembley. I'm going to say we get a 1-1 draw at Tottenham.
I'm going with a 2-0 win.
A 2-0 win at Wembley.
Yes, at Wembley. I don't care.
You got your Arsenal hat on today.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's just for this little segment then let's talk about we get Manchester United back at the Emirates in a league game, and that's going to be a white hot game. My prediction will be
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy though.
a 2-2 draw.
A 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
being
going with
realistic. I
a
think
3-2, a 3-2 win,
a 1-1.
and it is going to moonwalk at Old Trafford.
All right, Richard. What did you think of today's game, Richard? Arsenal TV. We have basically predicted that our next 5 league games will go unbeaten. And we'll garner anything from 11 to 15 points in doing
I have
so.
to say, very optimistic.
And I've said numerous times, if anyone that's cared to listen to me, our final 8 games after Manchester United are all on paper, um, quite reasonable fixtures on paper.
Yeah, quite reasonable. Especially the next 3.
What's your takeaways from today's game? London Old School. What's your takeaway from today's game?
Yeah, what's the takeaways, guys?
Have we shown that we're getting a little bit better from, say, the first game that we played Manchester City versus this game today, 7 months on? Are we showing improvement from the first game?
Raymond, have you been seeing an improvement?
Yeah, London Old School said he never expected to win. I agree with him. I never expected to win this game. I saw it as like a preseason game again, something that we could like measure ourselves up against the best. And we did not get taken apart.
No.
We did not get taken apart. So there's improvement in that respect. I'm counting out that third goal because that was definitely an offside and a handball. So really, we lost 2-1 to Manchester City today. Really.
Which in essence is actually quite a good game. Like,
Yeah.
we honestly thought we were gonna get torn apart. Like,
I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. They had lost a couple of games, and they were low on confidence, or you could think that they're a wounded animal. But that wounded animal did not take us apart.
yeah, exactly.
And Arsenal TV, Richard has said that they targeted Lichtsteiner. So I think that was the one flaw in the whole lineup of today, the setup of today. Lichtsteiner was obviously the weak link in the back four. And Raheem Sterling had a bit of a field day there.
Yeah, a lot of people, Raymond did pick Jenkinson instead of Dicksteiner. I mean, even most of the main people on AFTV, such as Troops, DT, everybody went with Jenkinson. As much as they hate to admit it, they went with Jenkinson over Dicksteiner because we knew you can't leave him there with Raheem Sterling and Maris and...
Exactly. Jenkinson, as London Old School said, Jenkinson has much more pace. And even if he's not very, very good, he can still... Pace is very important to be able to get to your winger and be able to close him down quickly. And that's just what Lichtsteiner was not able to do at all. So I want to say that we played quite well for 35, 40 minutes. And I'm going to say that showed improvement in what we're doing. We did see that the heads may have dropped a little bit as Manchester City took control of the game. And possibly you can give Emery you can give him credit for going for it in terms of putting 2 up top. But then you can also second guess him. Why didn't we go with 1 up top and play someone else in midfield like an Ozil or a Ramsey, But
or having the correct starting lineup, starting firepower. For example, like when he took off Iwobi and somebody else and he brought on Suarez and Ramsey,
Ramsey, yeah.
he could have maybe started off with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably his strongest team, but Emery has this habit of putting some of the strong aspects of his team on the bench so that he can bring them on to affect the game. Why don't you just affect the game from the start? And I feel like we're going to get to
Exactly
the,
my point.
we're going to get to the end of the season and second guess everything Emery has done. Uh, you know, start. There's no shame in starting with your strongest team, and if it doesn't work, it
There's no
doesn't work.
shame.
You know.
There's no shame in trying to outscore, rather putting your attacking force from the get-go, 5 attackers right up front,
Yeah.
trying to do damage. And even if you come unstuck and concede 2 goals, you're like, I gave my everything.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Put a stronger.
I'm not
Put.
angry at you for putting
Uh,
everybody in the...
Richard just said I think the diamond formation that we played against Chelsea is our best way to go. With the players that we have available,
Brilliant.
it is the best formation with the players that we do have available. I would totally agree with that. Let
I
me
would totally also agree with that. That is our best formation going forward.
and a couple of comments there about how Emery does not seem to know his best tactical lineup at this point. What do you think on that?
Okay, right now, I'm going to go from the back line quickly to the front line.
Yeah.
Burn Leno, Socrates, Mustafi, Monreal, Bellerin.
Okay,
In
this
the
is
middle,
your
I'm going with Torreira and
this is your
Xhaka.
strongest team when available.
Yes.
Okay.
Xhaka and Torreira in the midfield.
Yeah.
Now with Suarez. And I'm going with Ramsey, Ober, Laka, and who on that right wing? Mkhitaryan.
Okay, that's a pretty strong team. Hopefully, we're going to get a lot of those members back. Bellerin is out for the rest of the season, of course.
Yeah.
One of the things I talked about in my last video as well was who the players that are going to leave. So, do you want to go through some of the players that are either coming to the end of their contract in the summertime or need to be moved on?
Okay. Let's see. Unfortunately, Danny Welbeck's time has come to an end.
Yep.
He's injured at the moment.
Yep.
So Danny Welbeck. In the midfield, El Nini. And who else? Maybe Granit Xhaka if we can bring somebody better. And
Yep.
we can sell him at, or more or less recoup most of the money we spent on him back.
All right, but you have to be realistic. Is this what you want to leave, or what you think Emery will do?
I think everybody will definitely sell El Nini, right?
Yeah, but who did you just mention? Xhaka. He's not. What?
Xhaka.
He's not going to move Xhaka on.
Realistically, okay, sorry, that's one of my personal choices. If you goodness are getting to know me, that's one of my personal choices. If you ask me, I would go with a midfield, obviously, of Torreira, Suarez, and somebody else.
Let's try to anticipate what Emery might do.
Okay, El Nini. El Nini's going.
Yeah.
Welbeck.
Yep.
Welbeck's time has come to an end, so we're getting him off the books.
Ramsey.
He's definitely leaving.
Yep.
And Mustafi.
Okay. All right. Here's my list then, which is a little bit longer. So we know that Peter Cech is leaving. All right. Koscielny has come to the end of his long and great Arsenal career. He has been a fantastic servant. I agree with you, a London Old School on all of your lists. Lichtsteiner, he's a big problem. Lichtsteiner was brought in for character in the dressing room.
And leadership.
I think he should have been you just leave him in the dressing room every time we go out on the field so you can see him at halftime again. when the players come in. he, he
That's so funny.
he should be just there to say, look at the TV, Lichtsteiner, and watch the game from there, and we'll see you at halftime. Don't come onto the field. Don't come onto the substitutes bench at all. You know?
Yo,
Uh, yeah, we know he's a problem. Welbeck, we know, unfortunately, he's coming to the end of his contract, and they're not going to renew that. Hopefully, he's in the gym trying to get fit and all of that stuff. Ramsey, with the news is that he's already signed a pre contract with Juventus, so he'll be leaving. Possibly Monreal might have to leave as well. He's getting older. He could be one of the players that could stay another year. I don't. What do you think about Monreal? Do you think you can get another year out of him?
I personally would keep Monreal for another year.
Yeah, the same thing as I would say. Not that I like Xhaka particularly, but I think Emery is going to keep Xhaka. He is one of the famous five. You know that.
So-called untouchable.
Although one of the famous five is Ozil, and I don't think he's untouchable right now. And yes, I did mention Ozil. I feel come hell or high water, the club will try to move Ozil on in the summertime.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. And you know what? He should just know that he's not going to be part of the team, and he should just leave gracefully.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
I
think it's just
I would love Ozil to go on his own terms. I would love Ozil to stay if he could play like we all know he can play for 90 minutes, you know? But it's not there anymore.
I don't feel that. I'm sure a lot of Gunners will agree when we discuss and we say Ozil's time has come to an end.
Yeah.
Like you can quite frankly see it. And Una has had enough of it as well. You know, he needs players that are going to fight for him.
And that's the thing about Emery. And the one thing when he came, London Old School says Gazidis and Wenger are to blame for giving him that contract. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who knew that? Who knew that they were putting all of their assets into one player? That's no way to run a business. If you put all of your money goes into one player. How is that even sustainable?
And you know, with that also, it's not like they gave him. You know, if say for instance you say to a player, "I'm going to give you 150,000, right?"
Yeah.
But you have to prove yourself. You have to prove your worth. Now, at 150, you could say, "Oh my goodness, this guy is not performing for his worth." You know, 150. Now it makes it twice as bad or three times as bad that it's 350 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. On London Old School, if I was Ozil, I'd be happy to get that money, but I'd also be knocking on the manager's door saying, "I need to play. You're paying me all of this money." Yeah, sure, we all would take the cash. London Old School says you can't blame him. We would all take the cash, for sure. But we'd all like to play. He's a footballer as well.
Yeah, surely you love your club that you play for as well. So you should actually be showing the fans and the manager, look, you guys are not paying me for nothing. You know, I'm not just sitting here around here. We, like, as a practical example, say for instance you're at work and you're getting paid a lot of money and you're not performing. What is your boss going to do? You're going to get fired.
You're going to get fired. And that's what Emery's trying to do. That's what Emery is trying to do. All right, London Old School feels like he.
That amount of money, and I was just sitting, I'd be happy because regardless of whether I'm doing well or not, I'm still getting paid.
London Old School feels he lost confidence after the World Cup with what happened with the German setup. But I think this has been going on a few seasons now. And sure, that whole Germany thing was very, very difficult for him.
It was very difficult for him because even immediately afterwards, he said he retired from international football. But that should have given him more boost to perform for us. Do you understand? For the job.
Yeah.
Play for the badge in front, and people will remember the name on the back.
Exactly. Well, let's move on from that point because it is a very contentious point at this time in the season. And the transfer window has shut. Ozil is on our books till the summertime. So let's move on. My next question will be Peter Cech is leaving. We know that. We are going to need another goalkeeper. London Old School and Gundit. What do you think? What kind of goalkeeper we're looking for? A first choice goalkeeper that will replace Leno or somebody to back him up?
Raymond, I would love to hear from you first. What do you think?
I think in our progression, and I see it as maybe a 3 year plan, next season will be in the second year of our plan. And I feel like Leno is a good enough goalkeeper for us to achieve top four. If we don't do it this season, then we can do it next season. I don't think we've lost a lot of points solely because of Leno. And I think London Old School said that Leno should be second choice. But my belief is that for next season, we should be looking for a backup for Leno. But maybe a similar kind of goalkeeper in terms of age. Maybe a little bit younger, someone who might learn from him. But I think in our second year of our 3 year plan, Leno can suit us to challenge for the. Okay, London Old School did say Leno first choice. Sorry about that, London. Yeah, so we kind of agree on that, London Old School. I think he can be good enough to be part of a team that will challenge for the league next year. What do you think, Gundit?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Leno
All right.
for our first choice.
So
Are there any keepers that you would look at in for a second choice keeper?
You are really much better at that than I am. You are the person who knows most leagues, and I defer to your expertise in that area. If you know of any good goalkeepers, welcome into the circle. We have a second person in. If you want to drop us a question, you can. We are not too disheartened by the game today. We still have a plan to reach the top four. We're still in contention for the top four. But Gundit, News, and London Old School both agree with me that the next 3 games are vital. We will need 9 points from the next 3 games. And we're talking about the next question, Gundit, is how many defenders should we sign in the summertime?
Centre-backs.
How many?
Defenders.
1 or 2?
And
You get 1 or 2.
One or two.
You get.
Definitely two.
You don't get 4. That's not how it works. You don't get 4.
And a right over left back.
What areas of the back four would you address? 2 centre backs and a right back for London Old School.
And a right back.
To back up Bellerin. For
Yes.
sure.
Sorry, not in the back of
I
Bellerin.
think we all agree Bellerin could be first choice, right? And we're looking at a backup.
Yes.
Hi, Hadzi.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on. I believe you're a new subscriber. Thanks for subbing yesterday. Appreciate it.
Okay. I just want to let you guys know we do appreciate all your support and all your questions. Keep asking them. I would say
So-
if we go one question back, if we got some goalkeepers, there's a superstar keeper at the moment. He's making big waves.
Good
in Europe.
goalkeeper.
His name is David Ospina.
David Ospina.
Because I think we should buy David Ospina.
Is he's still on our books?
I'm only joking with you, Carlos and Raymond. I'm only joking with you guys. David Ospina.
Is he not tearing it up?
No, he's at Napoli at the moment.
He's at Napoli.
Uh,
Could we meet him in the Europa?
we could. Never know.
I wonder what the is he on loan?
No, he's permanently at
Okay. Hadzi, I think you had said, and London Old School, I think you both said 2 centre backs and 1 right back. So do you guys think Socrates is good enough to be first choice centre back? Socrates?
most definitely.
Yeah, but you would want two defenders, one to partner him and one to be a sub.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
There are two names and would cost 25 million.
Who's getting on a bit? London Old School. Mavro. What did anyone get a handle on Mavropanis today? He came on in the 78th minute. Maybe not enough time to show himself. Socrates is getting on. You're right. So we're thinking two centre backs, two new centre backs, and that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. We've discussed, we've said maybe one young defender and stop it.
Do we need Hadzi, London Old School, and Gundit? Do we need any more signings in the summer in terms of midfielder or strikers?
Maybe one striker.
What are our needs in the summertime?
A striker, yeah,
A backup?
and a backup keeper.
Here's something that's very important to me. We have two hella good strikers in Lacazette and Aubameyang. But we're going to miss the window on these players in terms of winning something big if we don't address our defensive frailties.
Right.
These, we want Aubameyang and Lacazette to be part of and I think Lacazette's younger than Aubameyang if I'm not wrong about that by a few years. So maybe Lacazette's going to be around a bit longer, but Aubameyang's got maybe a 2-year window. We'd like to address our defenders so that in 2 years from now we could be going for a league title. We want Aubameyang to be part of that.
Yes.
Hey, I have one more question for everybody. Aubameyang, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the first Arsenal striker to reach 25 in the shortest amount of games. Hadzi would not mind the winger. It often feels like we lack protection on the sides. Correct. And that's due to our fullbacks as well. Hadzi. So my question is about Aubameyang. Do we call him a legend yet for Arsenal? Has he achieved legend status? And what's the criteria for being a legend?
I think it will be amount of cups won, amount of big competitions. So the Premier League, Champions League, Europa.
Do you need to win? Do you need to win titles or cups to be deemed a legend at a club?
Yes, I think so. Because, well, not necessarily, but a lot of people, there's a manager, there's a acting manager. You know the name of this guy, I don't like things. But anyway, they put in a fantastic coach who's winning and winning games. But in all of his years, with that club, he's never won income options with him.
And Gundit, London Old School said not for him. You have to win a Premiership title to be a legend. So not yet at this point. Hopefully, we can call him that in a couple of years. One other point then, London Old School. How do you rate Aaron Ramsey and what he has done for us and what he's done for the club in his career, let's say? And Hadzi, jump in as well.
Look, he's been fantastic.
I mean, he can certainly leave the club with his head held high. He's been a consummate professional. So we appreciate everything he's done for us. I hope he goes to Italy and wins. He should win something with Juventus, right?
Yes, I would love if they won Champions League.
Exactly. He had that bad injury at Stoke. Let's never forget that. And he came back from it in great style. So he's definitely a winner. And I feel like he has chosen Juventus so that he could get a medal or two before his career ends. He's gotten some with Arsenal, but he can definitely pick up something at Juventus,
I think he's
Along with Ronaldo, there's a little known player called Ronaldo at Juventus. Have you ever heard of him? He's doing he's doing some bits right now. But he's pretty good. I'd never heard of him. A guy called Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe he's gonna be playing with.
I heard this guy's playing in Europe for my cousin, so I was like, who is this guy? And he said, oh, his name is Cristiano.
But Ramsey, you better play some good balls to this new guy Ronaldo, or else you're gonna hear about it. London Old School said best player at the moment. There's always been that debate between him and Messi, and I always felt like Ronaldo was stronger than Messi. But two good players. Any team will be happy to have, you know.
Imagine after this rivalry dies, who's going to be the next two rivals?
Yeah. Hey, did anyone see the press conference earlier this week with Emery, where the journalist was trying to antagonize Emery about questions, and Emery was like, you were the protagonist. So that shows that Emery's English is getting better, and he's getting more comfortable with his surroundings and in his environment. And I don't know if anyone else, let me know if you've been impressed with Emery's English. It's become so good.
Yes, but it all comes with more and more.
London Old School said the guy fired off like 50 questions. That's a journalist job, but he struck a little bit of a nerve. But I do have pride in thinking that Emery conducts himself with a little bit of class as well.
Oh, yeah.
London Old School says his English is better than his Thai. Yeah, Hadzi. Not sure what country you're from. If you let me know, that would be awesome. So I know what part of the world you're from. But yeah, his English has improved so much, and I can't help but be impressed by it. And also, I was impressed by Torreira today. He seems to be coming back to form.
Yes.
But I think we should sign off pretty soon. Thanks for all of you for coming on at various points. We had 5 or 6 people. Yeah, Torreira was strong today, and there was a little bit of London Old School said Torreira was strong today. There was a little bit of needle in that game, especially with Kevin De Bruyne. I thought he was a little bit out of line on a couple of occasions, but Manchester City have been accused of working in the dark arts, like they foul, they're niggly little fouls that the referees not going to hand out yellow cards for, but it does disrupt the play. And I feel like that's what happened to Arsenal today, was they slowed us down. We were moving for 35 minutes, 40 minutes, but then the niggly fouls started to happen, and Manchester City got on top that way, But
yeah.
No disgrace to lose to one of the top 2 teams. De Bruyne does have a bad side to his game. We've seen what Aguero can do in the past, and I'm going to add in David Silva too.
I mean, the whole squad literally, if a few years ago, if we wanted to keep up with all of this that's happening now, we should have spent 50 on a player every single transfer window since Wenger was, since like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And right now, we would have had a squad and wouldn't need to worry about money or anything, because we would have had maybe 2 players in each position worth about 50 mil. Do you understand?
Yeah. And of course, we missed our chance a few seasons back when we were close to Leicester by Valentine's Day a few years ago, but Leicester went on to win the league.
And we beat them at the time. We actually jumped into number 1.
Yeah.
We stayed, I think it was first.
And I thought we would have cracked them by then, but
honestly, I thought we were going to get it at that time. But everything is stand.
Well, let's let's sign off. London Old School says Emery needs funds. He's done well with what he has inherited. I absolutely agree with that. I think Gundit would too. You can't ask too much of a coach who's coming in to take a few signings that are his and a few that are not and try to mesh them together into a team.
Yeah, my last thoughts for you guys is let's just be very patient, and I believe Suarez is going to become a player. Just give him 3, 4, 5 games to warm up and shoot his qualities show within the next, like I say, 4, 5 games. And obviously big money in the summer. Apparently, I'm not going to tell you guys the figure. You guys might get a bit too excited, like I am.
Hadzi, how long have you been supporting Arsenal? Hadzi said just compared Liverpool and the team that Klopp inherited. It takes time to build a strong side. And I'm going to say it's a 3-year plan, but it might take a little bit longer, you know.
Might take a little bit longer.
Hey, I believe we can get top 4. What about you, Gunda? Do you think we can get top 4? Let me know, Hadzi and London Old School, if we can get top 4. I believe we get. You believe so? I believe we get top 4 this season, and we do. We do a lot of we do a lot of transfers in the summertime. Get them in early. Get our squad to more what Emery wants. We're gonna have to move a lot of players out. Everybody knows that. We're gonna have to get 4 or 5 in. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is who are we gonna call back on loans and what kind of kids can come through to the first team. So let's just spend a few more minutes here talking about that. Reece Nelson's doing bits over there in Hoffenheim, right?
Yep. Absolute bits in Hoffenheim.
Let's watch Emil Smith Rowe. He's in a good position. Emil Smith Rowe is playing with a 4th place team in the Bundesliga now in Leipzig.
Hey man, RB Leipzig is actually a team. It's a good team.
Good team.
If you actually team.
They have a couple of maybe a Swedish player who's really good, Forsberg maybe.
Yeah, Forsberg.
And so we get a couple of those players back. Even we get a couple of those players back next season. Maybe 1 or 2 of them start, like Reece Nelson. Maybe he's ready. Maybe they're substitutes, and
hopefully Neil learns a lot when he goes to play for RB Leipzig. And comes or bangs in quite a few goals there and comes back to us.
But to Hadzi's point, and that's something I talked about earlier as well, and over the weeks, Hadzi, is that we are in 7-8 months of our project, whereas Klopp and Pep Guardiola are 3 and 4 years.
Oh, in the 3rd and 4th years, yeah.
You know, and Klopp, there's a certain amount of pressure on Klopp this year. He has to deliver that title. To Liverpool.
Did you see? Yeah, not only is he under pressure. Did you see that actually in January, not a lot of top sides didn't sign in
No. That's in
Gonzalo and Pulisic, who's only going to come in summer into Chelsea's squad.
I heard that's.
Didn't sign. Chelsea, United didn't sign. Liverpool didn't sign. You know.
London Old School thinks it's Liverpool's year. There's a lot of Scousers are hoping you're right, London Old School. You know, I wouldn't begrudge them.
We could have actually done Liverpool a favour this week.
Yeah.
And done ourselves a favour if we had beaten Man City.
Yeah. I remember London Old School. I remember 1989, and I was born in 71, and that was the last time that Arsenal had won the league. And I know for us, as an Arsenal supporter, 1989 was such a big year, such a big breakthrough to win the league after 18 years. It was a big deal. And for Liverpool, it's going to be just as big a party if they do it, you know. So, yes.
But we've got nothing against Liverpoolians because they're not loudmouth like a lot of 2 clubs that I know quite.
Yeah. London Old School said that he'd never forget 1989. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. I was working in a grocery store, one of those big grocery stores called Dunn Stores in Ireland, and I had to go to work and not be able to some connection problems now. So I did not know the result. I went to sleep that night and have some Liverpool supporters on the other side of the street from me, and I went to sleep that night of 1989, not knowing the result of the Arsenal Liverpool game. I wake up in the morning, and my two Liverpool rival friends are across the street, and I'm afraid to go outside the house until I watch a sports show. And that morning, didn't know till about noon of that morning. I was like, "Holy shit! We actually won! We actually won the league! We actually went to Anfield and won 2-0. I can't believe it." Those were back in those days, Mahir. Technology was not what it is now. We know everything in an instant. But yeah, for Liverpool, it's gonna be like that for Liverpool. Imagine remember Manchester City when they won the league with Aguero in the last seconds of the of
That
the.
was crazy.
So Liverpool, it's gonna be crazy in Liverpool if they do it. You know.
Yeah, look, but even, like as a rival fan, we support Arsenal, but we've got nothing to say against any Scousers because I mean Scousers are generally friendly people. When
Generally, but a little bit of success goes to Scousers' heads.
oh yeah, no doubt. It goes to a lot of fans' heads, but luckily enough, it isn't two clubs that
Can you?
like both the band the FC, but
You,
the one is just
I mean,
unfortunately outdoing us.
if we win the league again, Gundit, it would have been since 2004. So we're looking at 15 years already. So
That'll be
we
absolutely crazy.
we need to get back to those times. We need to get back to
Absolutely.
winning leagues, and let's, as Hadzi had said, let's remember. Let's all remember back in August where we're going to give this manager, this coach, some time. Maybe feeling the pressure ourselves, but we need to give him some time. We need to remember and up in this year.
Exactly.
But hey, I think we're in with a great chance this year. We're not in cup competitions. We have every chance to get top four. And on that note, I'm gonna sign off for everybody now. So, Gunda, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate it again.
Been a
Um,
pleasure, my friend.
this is Arsenal Fan Circle with myself, Ray, and Gundit News is my co-host. He comes on. Um, we definitely will try to get Luca on next week to talk about things.
Yes, Luca, we'd love to have you on the show.
Luca, you're part of the circle. London Old School, you're part of the circle. Hadzi, welcome in. We had Noe earlier, and we had Richard from Arsenal TV.
Lovely,
So
lovely, lovely. Thanks, guys, for all the support and
thanks,
the love.
thanks for your continued support. Um, you know, if you guys didn't come on, it would just be me and Gundit News talking to ourselves, and we can certainly do that forever and ever. But we do appreciate
But it's more entertaining. Yeah, it's more entertaining. We really do appreciate
more
all the
entertaining when you
support
guys get
and
on as
comments.
well. So,
Much
Had
appreciated.
Hadzi, if you're still there, I hope you can come on next weekend. We do it every Sunday, usually noon Eastern time. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. I'm originally from Ireland, and I've been
Yeah, but 9
supporting
o'clock
Arsenal
in
since
Central
'86.
African time as well.
Yeah, and Gundit News is based
Yeah,
in
yeah.
is Gundit News is Mahir Abrams, out of South Africa. 7 hour time difference between me and him, but
Yep,
we are all in this circle together.
all of us.
As corny as that sounds, right?
Nah, I don't think it sounds corny. I'm sure you guys will agree with me.
Yeah, Hadzi, he can't promise that he can come on every week, but hey, if you can drop in every once in a while, it'd be really, really appreciated. And what next time you're on, Hadzi, do tell us your story. How long you've been supporting Arsenal, or if you have a moment now, drop me a question. Just before we go, how long have you been supporting Arsenal? When did you start? And what inspired you to follow Arsenal? You know, but this has been fun. when we get on Sundays, we usually go 90 minutes. Um, I always say, hey, Gundit, we always say we're going to keep it to about 60 minutes, but never really happen.
We actually go the length of a full match.
Length of a full match.
The time as well.
So, Hadzi, next time you're on, we'll talk about your history with Arsenal.
Yes, please let us do know about that.
And we can talk about Gundit's mentioned it before. You'll probably see it in previous videos, but we could also do a segment. Also, if anybody's watching this on the playback, drop some questions that we can address next time, or if there's anything that you would like us to talk about for future episodes. Summertime will be coming in the next 3 months or so, and we will have some time to address certain topics. Okay? But for right now, Gundit, thanks for coming on, and we will talk.
Pleasure, my friend.
We will talk to everybody next Sunday. But until then, I think the team played quite well. There's nothing to be ashamed of in losing today. The third goal was a handball. We are showing progression. We just need to make those steps a little bit more. I think the bigger games will be next month versus Spurs and Manchester United. Those are the
Against Bandy and Shite Lane.
Banter FC and Shidehart Lane. Those games will determine how far we go this season, and those games will have an impact on our top four. So, but anyway, for now, this has been Arsenal Fan Circle with my co-host Gundit News, Meyer Abrams.